So wait, would it be?
All right, so for number 3, A is what's in front. Now, it is technically the absolute value of what's in front. A is always going to be positive, so it's just going to be 2.
Oh,
That's...
So A will always be positive?
Yeah. So A is 2. That means your amplitude is 2.
Oh, why? Oh, wait, never mind.
I'll show you why once we graph it. Okay, so 2 pi over b this time is still going to be 2 pi because there's nothing in front of x. Right? Because remember, whatever is in front of x is b. Right? Whatever is in front, ignoring the negative sign, is a. Okay, that's your amplitude. All right, so now let's find our points. So again, this time we have x, negative 2 sine x. So 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. So you're still going to find the sign like you normally would on the unit circle. Once you find that number, you're going to multiply it by negative 2.
Multiply or what?
Multiply. Right, so we said sine at 0 is 0. So 0 times negative 2 is 0. No. All right, so then at pi over 2, sine is 1, right? So it will be negative 2. Because at pi over 2, right, your sine is 1, right? And then you do 1 times this negative 2 that's in front.
This is a very tall. So this one would be 0.
Wait, how did you get 0? Like when you times pi by 2, I get...
No, you find the sign at pi first, which is 0, and then multiply by 2. Yeah, so find your sign first before you multiply when your number's outside like that. So yes, your sine graph is going to be taller. So then you have 0, negative 2, 0, positive 2, 2 pi.
I feel like most of these shouldn't be this simple, or they won't be this simple.
They really are for the most part. All right, so let's talk. Amplitude is how tall your graph is, like from the middle part of it. So like from here to here, why?
And the second one's the wavelength.
So like that's 2.
Yep.
The second one is your wavelength, yes.
I did it.
I learned this from the Spider-Man. Oh, yeah.
We did, yeah. But so these are basically just waves.
Yours isn't the same as mine. Why is mine different? I got 2 for pi.
You say that's the wavelength?
You should get 0.
Hold on.
Do we need a mark to make a wavelength?
No, like wave. All right, so that, all right. So that is amplitude. So wavelength is technically like this part. So you're 2 pi.
Yeah, I see what I understand.
Yeah, I remember in physical science.
Mm-hmm.
How do you remember what?
Yeah, when we talked about waves. That's what these are. These are waves. These are transverse waves.
I forgot what wave was mine.
When did we do that?
9th grade.
That was 9th grade? I don't remember anything about that year, honestly.
Well, yeah, 2020 was a weird blur at the end, so.
I remember the start of it.
All right, now that you've done number 3, do number 4. Same kind of process, but just with cosine.
I did that wrong.
It literally looks the same as sine.
No, it doesn't. Look.
Well,
Because that 2 is negative, look up.
Yeah.
Right? So we went up first, but this one went down first. That's because that negative sign there.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's not it then.
So negative flips it. All right, so try number 4 on your own. While you guys are doing that, I'm still recording. I'm going to talk back through number 1 because I forgot to record that the first time for all the people not here today. And they just heard me say all that. So, whoa, I can use 2 laser pointers at once? No. They probably heard you, but I'm staying now. All right, so graph of sine. So again, just like we did the other day, we have x and sine of x. Your key points here are still the same. Anything in front of sine is going to be a, which is your amplitude. Anything in front of x is b, which you use to find the period. The period is how long it takes for one rotation to happen. So we go middle, up, middle, down, middle, and then before we would repeat again. So the length of the period is how long it takes us to do that on the x-axis. So in this case, it is 2 pi. All right, so then looking at the unit circle, the sine at 0 is 0. Sine at pi over 2 is 1. Sine at pi is 0. Sine at 3 pi over 2 is -1. Sine at 2 pi is 0. Plot your points. Make sure you're drawing them with a nice smooth curve, no sharp V's. Okay, and then you guys try numbers 2 and 4 by yourself so far. All right, I know some of you are still working on 4. That's fine. So 5 and 6 are going to work the same way. We're just multiplying by fractions now.
I'm almost done with 5.
Yeah, so 5 you do the same way as number.
I just kind of forgot that.
All right, so remember, you find the sine of x on the unit circle. So sine at 0 is 0. Then you multiply by 1/2. So that is still 0. At pi over 2, sine is 1. Times 1/2 is 1/2. Right, and it gives you a nice 1/2 line on the graph. All right?
Half a pi for the next one.
Not half of pi. You find the sine first.
This page.
All right, and again, your amplitude is 1/2. Period is still 2 pi.
Half of -1 is -0.5.
If you're multiplying by 1/2.
Yes.
Oh.
All right, and then number 6, you're going to do the same thing, except it's got 3/4. So it breaks your graph up into fourths for you, so your 3/4 point would be here on number 6.
So literally, we're just taking